Did you know that 90% of startups fail? Yep, you heard that right. And most of them don't even make it past their first year. But why? And more importantly, how can you avoid becoming just another statistic? The truth is, most founders don't fail because they're lazy or lack great ideas. They fail because of a few critical mistakes that can be avoided. Maybe they build something no one actually wants, burn through their cash too fast, or struggle to stand out in an already crowded market. Sound familiar? But here's the good news. Failure isn't random. It follows patterns, and if you know what to look for, you can sidestep the biggest pitfalls and set yourself up for success. So, let's break down exactly why most startups don't make it, and what you can do differently to beat the odds. You can have the best product in the world, but if no one actually wants it, game over. Too many startups fall into the trap of building something they think people need, instead of solving a real problem that people are actively looking to fix. They spend months, even years, perfecting their product, only to launch and hear crickets. The key: validate your idea before you invest too much. Talk to potential customers. Run small tests. Create a simple version, like a landing page or prototype, and see if people are actually interested before going all in. If no one is willing to pay for it or even sign up for free, that's a red flag. Find the demand first, then build the solution, not the other way around. And even if you have demand, execution matters. That's where a lot of startups trip up, which brings us to mistake number 2. Most startups don't fail because they run out of ideas, they fail because they run out of money. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of launching a business, hiring too fast, spending on fancy offices, or pouring cash into ads that don't convert. Before you know it, the bank account is empty, and there's no backup plan. The sneaky part: it's not always the big expenses that kill a startup, it's the small, recurring ones that add up. Subscription services, unnecessary software, overstocked inventory, or marketing campaigns with no real ROI. So, how do you keep your finances in check? Start lean. Track every dollar. Focus on revenue early. Don't wait until you're running out of cash to figure out how to make money. And always have a plan for the unexpected. Because when money problems hit, they hit fast. Even with money under control, there's another common killer: poor execution. Let's talk about that next. A killer idea is worthless if you don't know how to bring it to life. Plenty of startups start with a game-changing concept, but without strong execution and leadership, things fall apart fast. Maybe the team lacks direction, decisions take too long, or no one is willing to pivot when things aren't working. The best founders know that execution is everything. They move fast, test ideas, and aren't afraid to make tough calls. They hire smart, surround themselves with people who challenge them, and most importantly, they communicate a clear vision so the entire team is aligned. And then there's adaptability. Markets change, customer needs evolve, and if you're too stubborn to adjust, your startup won't survive. The ones that make it, they stay flexible, learn from mistakes, and execute relentlessly. But even if you execute well, there's still one more major problem: standing out. Let's dive into that next. Let's be real. No matter what business you're in, there are probably 1,000 others doing the same thing. The biggest mistake startups make: thinking that just having a good product is enough. It's not. If people don't instantly see what makes you different, they'll move on. So, how do you cut through the noise? First, be specific. Trying to appeal to everyone usually means you appeal to no one. The most successful startups carve out a niche and own it. Second, tell a story. People connect with brands that have a clear mission, not just another company selling the same thing. And third, deliver something better or unique, whether it's pricing, experience, customer service, or an innovative feature that no one else has. If you don't stand out, you'll blend in. And in the startup world, blending in is the fastest way to disappear. But even with a great product and solid execution, there's still one mistake that kills businesses more than anything else: giving up too soon. Let's talk about that next. The truth: most businesses don't fail because they're bad, they fail because their founders give up too early. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going well, but what happens when sales slow down, investors say no, or your first idea doesn't work? Too many startups call it quits at the first major setback, without realizing that struggle is part of the process. The most successful founders push through. They adapt, they learn, and they keep going even when it feels impossible. If something isn't working, They don't abandon ship, they tweak, test, and pivot until they find what does. So, if you're in the middle of a rough patch, remember, every successful startup you see today had moments where failure seemed inevitable. The difference? They didn't quit. Now, let's wrap this up with what you can do to make sure your startup thrives. So, what's the secret to not failing? It's not luck, and it's not just having a great idea. It's about learning from these mistakes, staying adaptable, and most importantly, executing like your business depends on it because it does. Validate your idea before you build. Manage your cash wisely. Lead with clarity. Stand out from the competition. And when things get tough, keep going. The startups that make it aren't the ones that never struggle, they're the ones that refuse to quit. If you're serious about building a startup that thrives, drop a comment below and let's talk about it. What's your biggest challenge right now? Let's figure it out together.